Hey guys, so joining me right now is my boy, my oldest, JJ. I'm glad to have you back on. You excited, bud?
Yeah.
Excellent. So Chris couldn't be here tonight. He's working, doing some stuff, but we're gonna have a special episode Friday morning where we're gonna record and get a friend of ours, a family member of ours. He's gonna come on and we're gonna discuss some basketball. So figured, hey, let me get JJ on here and we'll discuss a little bit of football and kind of get a rundown of this week. So we've seen some crazy things happening over the last week or so. Last week, the Denver Broncos didn't have a quarterback. They had a wide receiver playing quarterback, and I think he might have completed one pass for like 3 yards. It was pretty ridiculous. In the era of COVID is pretty stupid, pretty ridiculous. But hey, so we had that going on last week. The Raiders got smoked. I don't know what happened there, but they got smoked. Which I was really hoping Chris would be on here since he's a big Raiders fan, just to mess with him. But he's not here to take his beating, so because he would give me the business. I know him well enough to know he'd give me the business about how bad my Patriots are playing. But somehow we lucked into a win. If you can't tell, JJ and I are definitely homers. We're big Patriots guys, and I just got to ask you, bud, just out of curiosity, as a Patriots fan, should we have lost on purpose this season, or should we go for it? What do you think?
I think this season you would go for it to see what you have in Newton and some of your younger guys on
But
the
I mean,
defense.
we had the most opt outs out of anybody. We had like 8 guys opt out. We're bringing in a running back at quarterback. We're losing people left and right, health wise, injuries and stuff. So I don't know, man. We're at 5-6. We're at 5-6 right now, and we're a few games out from being even in the playoff picture. If I could pull that up, I'm trying to pull that up for us here. But I'm thinking about that. Like, man, could we have gone full Jets on this thing? Like, it hurts my heart to even think that about going full Jets on this thing, and
I
and
think
just
it's possible to go full Jets if you're tanking how
well,
bad they are.
they are pretty bad. So we are currently, what are they taking? 8 teams. I think we're like a game and a half out of the playoffs or something right now. We're at 5-6. So the Dolphins and the Bills are definitely going to get ahead of us. I don't think we're going to be.
Dolphins are good this year.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to catch the Bills since they're at 8-3. We're at 5-6. I don't think we can catch them. We can do all we want to. I don't think we're going to catch them. We might be able to catch Miami, but I kind of doubt it. I mean, they'd have to really get on a losing streak, and I don't think that's going to happen. Not on a
Two
full streak.
games.
Well,
I
not
mean, we
especially.
have beaten them, and we'll play them again.
Yeah, but this week they're playing Cincinnati. Cincinnati's
Well,
going to Miami. No Burrow, you know what I mean. So I think that's an easy W for Miami,
for
especially the way
sure.
they've been playing. I think they'll pull that off and they'll walk out of there with the win. So that would put them at 8-4, and I think the Buffalo Bills are going to win, and so they'll be at 9-3. So I don't think we can do it that way. It'd have to be some extraordinary case where we can get a wild card. So I don't know. That's when I think about it, man. I don't think Newton's the future at quarterback. I really don't.
I
Um,
hope we drop them.
well, he was only a 1-year signing, so there's the good news. He's a 1-year signing, so we don't have to keep him. We can move on. But I was just kind of hoping for a higher draft pick so we could get somebody good at quarterback. Because obviously Stidham isn't panning out. Hoyer's awful, and Newton. I mean, he's. I think he's awful.
Newton's no better.
I think he's awful. There's other people around me that I know that talk about Newton like, man, he's amazing and blah blah blah. And I just
What is he?
personally, no, I've never thought he was awful, or excuse me, never thought he was any good. Even his MVP season, I never thought he was any good. I think he's just overrated. Personally, I think.
He didn't win the MVP for being an MVP. He won the MVP because people liked him.
So you're saying that he's popular, not good?
Yes.
Wow. So he's more of a social media star or commercial star kind of
Probably
guy.
made more money off endorsements than he has on the Panthers.
He's definitely not making it on the Patriots with the contract they signed him to. So that's understandable. So we've got the Patriots who are kind of middling. Maybe they're awful. They're kind of are awful. But then we got the team at the top, man, 11-0 right now. And now they lose the Steelers, 11-0. They lose Bud Dupree. Found out he's got a torn ACL. They lose him for the year. Okay, so the Pittsburgh Steelers have the Redskins at home this week. I don't think
that's a win.
That's a win. Now, don't get me wrong. The Redskins' defense is definitely stepping up, but their offense is just not great, not yet. Now, maybe I'm biased. Maybe I'm saying that they're stepping up because they played an awful Cowboys team last week on Thanksgiving Day, and they blew it up. I'm loving your braces right now. Are you regretting that color in the front? You're regretting that color?
For Halloween. Then I found out I wasn't getting changed until this month.
Yeah, see? Yeah, I'm trying to let everybody know that sees your smile right now that you don't have bad teeth. It's just the rubber bands on your braces.
They're black.
That's awful. Okay, we're never doing that again, are we?
No.
Oh, man, that's funny. All right, so we have that going on. So do you think, in my opinion, because of this injury, I think it'll be a blow to the defense. I think they'll still do pretty good, but I think it's going to be a blow. I mean, the guy was having a good year. So do you think that they're going to be able to stay undefeated for the rest of the year? I mean, that's a tall task for anybody to stay.
Unless they play the Chiefs at all in the rest of the season, I think they still got it.
Okay, so here's the deal. This week, they are home against the Redskins. So we're both saying that's a win for the Steelers.
That's a win.
Okay. Next week, they go on the road to Buffalo. That's a tough one, right? That's a tough one. That's where I think they could get tripped up. Okay, and then after that, they go on the road to Cincinnati. I think that's a win.
That's a win.
They're going to be home to play against the Colts.
That's a win.
I think it's a win. And then they finish the season at the Browns.
That's a win.
Yeah, in theory, as long as there's no helmets being swung, it could be a win. So, so we're thinking they could end up at 15-1.
I think they'll go undefeated. Sometimes
you think they'll go undefeated? You think they'll still pull it off?
Sometimes the Bills just trip.
And you're going for it. See, I got man. If Justin Stevenson is listening to this, he's gonna love this. He's a Steelers guy. I know a few Steelers guys, so they're gonna love hearing the idea of your saying that they're gonna go undefeated. Now, are you willing to go as far as saying that they're going to win it all? Like they're gonna make it past the Super Bowl?
I think the Chiefs are gonna repeat.
You think? Yeah, it's hard to argue with that. They've got an unbelievable offense, and the defense is playing well enough.
I think they'll make it to the conference championship, though.
So you're saying they're going to play against the Chiefs in the AFC Championship and then lose?
Yeah,
but they could possibly hold home field advantage, possibly, because they're at 11-0. The Chiefs are at 10-1. Now let's look at the Chiefs. The rest of their schedule. The Chiefs, Broncos this weekend. That's a win. They go to the Dolphins next weekend.
Win.
Okay. They go to the Saints after that.
Win. Sometimes they just lost.
Maybe. What if Drew Brees is back?
If he comes back, that looks different.
It does look different, but I still think it's probably.
Still think the Chiefs will do it. They have enough firepower.
Okay, so what? All right, we get to was this week 15, and they play the Falcons at home.
Oh, that's definitely.
They might put up 100 points. I don't know. The Falcons' defense is awful. And then the last week they have the Chargers at home, so they could also finish 15-1. So that would be interesting to see how they do the tiebreaker on that. I'm curious how that works.
The only two teams they would lose to would be Miami, who they're still a young team and they got some years, and then the Saints.
The Saints, yeah, I could see that. I could see that.
Have a legitimate chance.
It's a legit chance if Drew Brees is healthy. But man, he had what was it, like 10 to 14 ribs that were fractured, and he had a punctured lung. Right now, the Saints are literally playing a running back at quarterback. They're slash guy. They're playing, and I won't lie to you. I am trying to pick up Taysom Hill in one of my leagues right now because I'm not happy with any of my quarterback production. My fantasy leagues, I am not happy the idea of a 1 week rental of Taysom Hill or a 2 week rental, but they're playing the Falcons this week, so I'm hoping he can just run in 2 or 3 more touchdowns. I'm not liking the fact that I'm having to bench Michael Thomas in some of my leagues. He's one of my main guys. But right now, since I don't have Drew Brees, I got nobody throwing in the ball. So it's like, oh. So,
Yeah.
but you were telling me that you are, I guess you're in the John and Chris Show League. You have your team injured. You have like everybody on your bench is injured right now or out, right?
I have dropping Lamar.
You dropped him?
I'm getting Austin Eckler. I'm dropping Lamar.
Oh man, I can't believe you're getting Eckler. I was trying to snag it, but
Eckler.
I'm at the bottom of the waiver wire, so I know for sure I'm not going to be able to get Eckler. Man, that sucks. I was hoping I could sneak that in there, but y'all pay attention too much.
I check every day, multiple times a day.
Hey, big news in the NFL. I don't know if it's big news, but after last week's loss on national television to the Houston Texans, the Detroit Lions decide to fire Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn. Okay. Now, both of these guys, Matt Patricia, he's 13-29-1 in Detroit. That's not good. Yeah. So really low winning percentage there. Bob Quinn, they were trying to make what looks like the Patriots of the West, and that's not paying. It obviously did not pay off. They signed. Dude, what is that dude's name? I can see his face now, and I can't think of him for the Patriots. The defensive end. Oh, Flowers. Flowers. They signed Flowers.
Trey Flowers.
They tried Trey Flowers. Man, I don't know why I went blank on that one. They signed him to a monster contract. You wonder why Belichick let him walk. They signed him to like $17 million a year contract, and I think Belichick just understood that he's a good player, but he's not worth $17, $18 million a year. And they signed him. That didn't pan out. They've drafted like 2 or 3 running backs over the last couple of years. None of them have paid off so far. I mean, they were using Adrian Peterson, the aged Adrian Peterson, on Thanksgiving Day to run in touchdowns.
DeAndre Swift is doing okay.
He's coming along, but you put a first round pick into him. You were hoping he'd do more than that. When you put a first round pick into a running back, you're hoping he's going to be kind of like Ezekiel Elliott was his first year with the Cowboys. Now he's not that way this year for the Cowboys, but when you put a first round pick in there, that's what you're looking for. So we've got that situation going on in Detroit. They're starting over. Stafford's getting older. They look a little bit lost on what they're trying to make. I got to be honest with you. I'm watching this guy after guy that are coming out of the Patriots locker room that are all these guys that are former coaches. McDaniels left. He got fired in Detroit. Not Detroit, Denver, and he ended up going back. Brian Flores is doing pretty good, and Mike Vrabel is doing pretty good. But technically, I think Vrabel was more of a player, not necessarily in the coaching tree. But Mike Flores is doing good, even though your Uncle Chris says he needs to be fired.
Miami.
Yeah, he says the Miami coach should be fired. They're 7-4.
It's a lot better than them Raiders.
Oh, yes! That's what I'm talking about. Man, he's going to love seeing this video. That's going to be great.
Fire your coach, Raiders.
Oh, they can't, man. They signed Gruden to a monster contract. It was like a 10-year, $100 million
I thought
contract.
that was a good idea.
Mark Davis, apparently, Al Davis' son, who took over as owner. But, yeah, so that's the situation there. But in all fairness, he's actually got the Raiders heading in a decent direction. Even some of their losses, they've been fighting, contrary to where they've been last few years before that, where they were just lost.
And they beat the Chiefs.
They did beat the Chiefs. You got to give them credit for that.
I say you beat the Chiefs, you're doing something right.
Yeah, exactly. You got to give them credit for some of that. So, I think could be a few more guys that could get fired before the end of the year. I don't know. I kind of hope not, but I know there's some guys not living up to expectations here and there. Like, we've already seen what Houston's fired their coach, Atlanta. Who else has fired their coach now? Houston, Atlanta. Detroit's fired, but there was one more, I think.
Denver?
Well, Vic Fangio's good. Man, I thought there was one more.
Was it the Jets yet?
It's not the Jets. I
Well,
mean, it's amazing to me, isn't it? Man, I can't believe that they haven't done it yet.
their owner should just sell the team.
So I'm looking at this. So it looks like just Atlanta, Houston. Let me pull this up on ESPN. Let's see. Obviously, we know Houston. Dan Quinn in Atlanta has been fired.
Bill
And
O'Brien.
then Bill O'Brien from Houston. We already know that one. And Matt Patricia. So those are the only three that have been fired that I can find. If I've missed one, I apologize. But then we see that, well, I guess we don't see that, but we're just expecting at any point that Adam Gase is going to be fired in New
He's the
York.
worst coach of all time.
Probably. I mean, he's pretty bad. He's been, what I would consider a loser in both places. I mean, getting in fights with your best players and getting in arguments with your best players. I think that's bad.
Feel bad for Sam Darnold.
I do feel bad for Sam Darnold to an extent. I'm still a Patriots fan, so I love the idea of the Jets sucking.
I like that the Jets suck. I just feel bad that Sam Darnold is stuck there.
Truth, it is kind of purgatory for a lot of players. So real quick, I want to go through a rundown of all the games this weekend. So you just give me a shout out, any thoughts you have on these winners, losers, or just any other ideas that you have for these games. All right, so let's start at the top. New Orleans at Atlanta.
New Orleans.
I think it's going to be a blowout. I really do. Even though they don't have Drew Brees, I think they're going to have a blowout. Detroit at Chicago.
Oh,
That's tough, right?
I think Chicago will do it.
I'm thinking Chicago is going to do it as well. The problem is that Chicago doesn't have a quarterback, but now Detroit doesn't have a coach, really.
Actually, Trubisky is starting.
I know. I said Chicago doesn't have a quarterback. I said that. I'm a Tar Heel fan, and I said that they don't have a quarterback. I said it. I'm honest. All right, we got the Browns going to the Titans. It's a tough game.
Browns are actually good this year.
Right. They've got their running game functioning. Because they've got the running game functioning, their defense looks halfway decent. I mean, Myles Garrett was near the top for sacks this year, so he's running.
I think that Chubb is going to carry him.
Right. So that's tough.
Titans,
I personally, I've picked the Titans. I picked the Titans. We'll see if they do it. All right.
It depends on which Titans show up. If the good Titans show up, or if the Titans that played the Colts.
Truth. Well, that's also sometimes when you play a division opponent, they just know how to play you. All right, Cincinnati at Miami. We both said Miami. All right, Jacksonville at Minnesota.
Minnesota.
You're not committal on that. You didn't even finish that. Minnesota. What was that? What was that? Are you actually going to try to say Jacksonville? I believe they were starting Mike Glennon recently. Are you going to say Jacksonville?
Gordon Minshew and Mike Glennon.
I don't even know where Minshew is. I guess he's hurt.
I think Dalvin Cook still got it. That defense isn't good.
Okay, so you're going to stick with Minnesota. Yeah. You're going to go with the Vikings on that one. I love that. That's my favorite part. You got halfway into that. All right, we have the Raiders at the Jets.
Raiders.
Yeah. Are we going to – let's put the over-under at 30 points. 30 points. Are you saying that the Raiders will score more or less than 30 points? You're going way up.
Over.
Over. There we go.
How do you not go over playing the Jets?
Touche. That's a good point. All right. We have the Colts going to the Texans.
Colts.
I got Colts. Even though, Deshaun Watson, they won their game the other day against Detroit. I don't know. I don't think they have enough players.
It's Detroit.
That's true. Good point. We have the Rams at the Cardinals. Ooh, right? Right.
I have two sides to this. If Kyler Murray plays, I think he'll be able to dodge Aaron Donald. But he is going to have to run. And so he might get hurt.
You're saying the only way that the Falcons win this game is if Kyler Murray's putting up 75 to 100 yards rushing.
Falcons?
What did I say? Cardinals.
You said the Falcons.
No, did I say the Falcons?
Yeah.
All right, you're saying that the only way the Cardinals can win this game is if Kyler Murray puts up a lot of yards rushing.
Yeah,
Okay. Giants at Seattle.
Seattle.
Seattle, I agree. I think last I heard Daniel Jones is kind of injured. They're not sure if he's going to play. But I will admit that I have been impressed with Joe Judge. He's taken a loser of a team that lost their best player, and they're being competitive. They may not be winning every game, but they're being competitive. So you got to give some credit to the Giants. And let's just be honest, the Seahawks, it all comes down to whether or not they can get a pass rush because their defense is awful.
They're going to let Russ cook.
They're going to let Russ cook without a doubt, but their defense is awful. The Eagles at the Packers. I don't even think this is a debate, is it? It's got to be the Packers. The Eagles are pretty bad this year. Team injury. But, hey, they could actually still win their division. They could still win their division.
That's scary when you've lost more than 5 players that are star players for you, and you can still win your division.
Well, I mean, all right, think about it this way. Their division, all right, pulling it up right here. The first place team is tied. It's a tie between the Giants and the Redskins, the Washington Footballers. The Giants and the Footballers, they are both at 4-7. And then you have the Eagles right behind them at 3-7-1, and then the awful Cowboys at 3-8. Just go ahead and tank. They need to go ahead and tank. I'll just go ahead and say it.
That's how the they're going.
Yeah. So, man, the Eagles, all right, say they win this week. They will then hold the lead possibly for the division if both the Redskins and the Giants lose. They would both be at 4-8, and then the Eagles would be at 4-7-1. So they would have this half a game lead because they tied a game. How crazy is that? That one of those teams is going to get in with probably a losing record, probably. Okay, so we're both saying the Packers there. We have the Patriots at the Chargers. I'm going to tell you, honestly, it's tough. I really believe that the Patriots are going to walk away with the win just because Belichick does so well against young quarterbacks, rookie quarterbacks, first 2 or 3 years in the league.
He's going to put a lot of pressure on them.
He's going to put a lot of pressure on him. He's going to do something exotic with the defense, and the Patriots are just going to run it. They're just going to run the bejesus out of the ball. So I think the Patriots are going to win. Who do you have?
Patriots.
I got you. I don't even know if we have to discuss this one. The Broncos at the Chiefs. I'm not even sure if the Broncos have a quarterback, but I'm not even sure if it would matter. Are you hesitating? It's a Chiefs win. I thought you were hesitating. I was like, wait, what is happening right now? You went into deep thought. I was like, what the crap is he seriously thinking about this? So once again, over under. The Chiefs will win by 30 or more. 30 or less or more. What do you have? 30 or more, 30 under 30. What do you have? I'm saying they're going to win. I'm saying they're going to win by over 30 points.
Without Von Miller, it's going to be over.
I don't think it would even matter if they had Von Miller. The way Mahomes is playing against the blitz.
I don't know. So the way the Broncos can play defense against some teams, it's very strategically, and they can.
That is true, but
down.
I hadn't seen a lot of teams that can put it on Mahomes yet. He just does amazing things back there. That we both said we think Pittsburgh is going to beat the Redskins. Washington.
Can't say that.
I know. And then we have the Bills going to the 49ers. What do you have?
Got the Bills.
You got the Bills?
Too many injuries for 49ers.
I agree with you. I'm taking the Bills as well. And then the last game, which is I think on Tuesday next week because of COVID, is the Cowboys at the Ravens. Okay. What if Lamar isn't back? I'm not sure the time frame on him coming back from COVID here.
It's unclear.
It's unclear for me because I don't know the exact number of days. I know he missed the game yesterday against the –
He still has it.
He still right. I mean, it takes a little while, but there's a certain amount of days that you have to be symptom free and all that kind of stuff. So, I'm even if they're starting Robert Griffin III, I'm gonna take the Ravens.
This is tough.
I know I get it,
but sometimes the Ravens will get to the end of the game. It's pretty close, and the way Dallas played against Pittsburgh, that was pretty good. Ravens will choke.
You're taking Cowboys?
No.
Oh, see, oh my gosh.
Depends. How
Wait, no,
Zeke
it doesn't
shows
depend. You
up.
got to pick one. Pick one. Come on, man. What's it going to be? You going to take the Red Rocket
Take
down
a
there?
Baltimore.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just had to
It's a
put you on
tough
the.
game.
Well, I get it.
Baltimore can suck.
Yeah. Real quick, just the lower level of football. We're both big Tar Heel fans.
Oh,
We were both hoping that they would put it on Notre Dame this past weekend. And let's just be honest,
we're not ready.
we're not ready. We're about a year or so away from having the talent on there to defeat a team like that, and I'm hoping that Mac Brown can keep that going. But I've seen a growing trend in college football that, I'll be honest, JJ, it makes me a little nervous about things. So what I've seen obviously since the beginning of the season, we've seen guys that are opting out. They're claiming COVID and they're opting out if they've got, if they've already been rated fairly high for draft stock and all this kind of stuff like that. They're opting out, and they've got to make the decision that's in the best interest for them. And I get it. I can't argue or fault a guy who's putting his body on the line. But just this week, I saw a few guys that opted out. Uncle Chris's team, he's a big FSU guy. I saw one of their best defenders, Asante Samuel Jr., or Asante Samuel, whatever it is. I'm pretty sure it's Asante Samuel Jr. But he opted out. The season's not over yet, and he opted out. The reason he opted out is the same reason that Terrence Marshall, the wide receiver for LSU, same reason he probably opted out. Their team sucks. They've made huge impacts as far as the way they played early on in the year, so they look good draft stock wise. So then the argument becomes, why risk your body to get injured and do all this kind of stuff like that when you're focused on the NFL? And I get it, and you have to do what's best for you. But I'm seeing a growing trend that kind of makes me nervous. Like, I would not be shocked to start seeing that across the board. I saw, I think it was offensive tackle for Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State's, they still have a chance to win the Big 12 as far as I know. I think they're going to the Big 12 championship, but one of their best offensive tackles just opted out. He quit. He did, I guess, a good enough job throughout this whole season to where he just said, okay, I'm out and I'm not risking getting hurt. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like these guys should stick around? Like, if you say, hey, I'm going to play this season for you, coach, I'm going to be here for you, team, should you stay for the whole year, or are you of the belief that these guys got to do what's right for them?
If your team sucks, you do what's right for you. Now, if you're a team competing for the championship, you have to stay. If you were that good to get drafted and you were gonna go to the playoffs, you've got to stay.
But it's the same argument. You have to think about these guys. So some of these guys, they're not going to be competing for national. Like the guy from Oklahoma State. I mean, they could get into the chance for the playoffs. I don't know. Maybe they could. Maybe they couldn't. I'm not really sure. But is it worth it? These guys are thinking about long term, how many millions they could make if they get drafted into the NFL and all that kind of stuff like that. Is it worth risking injury? Is it worth sticking around?
Not.
It's not? You don't think so?
If it's not a guarantee, it's not at all.
I know you're right, man. It's just really hard for me. Sometimes I have these
I don't
really
like it.
I have these really old school approaches to things. Like Uncle Chris is even more old school than I am at points about certain things, and so we struggle with that type of stuff. Oklahoma State is 6-2. There's no way in the world they're making the playoffs, in my
No,
opinion.
they're not.
They're not making the playoffs because Alabama's 8-0, Notre Dame's 9-0, Clemson 8-1, and Ohio State's 4-0. Which I still have a struggle with that because they're not going to play
How
as
are
many.
they even up there?
Well, their strength of their team and their strength of their name is what's got them up that high.
I mean,
I
they
don't know.
gotta be a good school.
They're a fantastic school. They've got to win out. They've really got to win out. So, but that's what's going on a little bit in football. Tomorrow we're going to have another episode. We're going to record and post. Chris and I will be on here. We'll have a special guest with us, and we're going to be talking some basketball. college and NBA, breaking all down that's what's happening out there with the trades and extensions, and just looking forward to kicking off the season and how college basketball has already started off with some upsets and different things. So we really appreciate you guys watching and hanging out, listening, whatever it is. We just ask that you guys, if you like what we're doing, just give us a like, hit that subscribe button, and just keep it going. We appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time.